The narrative of the husband begging his completely disinterested wife for sex is literally the most common conversation I have with the couples I see, and I can't tell you the number of times I've heard women dismissively talk about the fact that sexual desire is just something they no longer experience at all. Obviously the most common thing that you have heard. So as a marriage therapist, how do you assist couples who have such strong but opposing needs?
I really like to first normalize why I believe that is. I think we live in a society that teaches men that their only outlets for emotions are through anger and sex. And so because we have created a society of men where men just don't have the same emotional intimacy a lot of times in their other relationships outside of their marriage containers. Like, I'll hear men often talk about how, I just don't have those conversations with my guys. Like, we'll watch football together, we'll maybe play a couple of rounds of golf, but we don't go deep. We don't talk about this stuff, right? And that wasn't always the case. In collectivist societies, men used to spend a lot of really deep, close, intimate time with one another. They would be tender with one another. They would tell one another they loved one another and hold space for one another in a way that, of course, men need and are hungry to experience. And a lot of times, their marital container is the only space, the only outlet that men have for feeling feelings. And we've sort of normalized that as you want to have as many conquests as possible. And that sort of is where your power lies and where your self-worth lies, is how you are being experienced sexually. And then it's we, one, either make that a predatory thing in men, or we assume that will just shut down once you get into a relationship, and that's just not real. But for core feminine women, they are aroused in the experience of being seen. And when I say being seen, it's not slap your behind, you're hot. It's actually, I see you, James. I see you as a person. I'm connected with the truth of who you are, and I reflect that back to you, which is why women connect through the deeper layers of intimacy. And that's sort of you'll hear a lot of times, if one of you's been out of town in a heteronormative dynamic, the man will be yes, I just want you, right? The minute that his wife walks in the door and she's you gotta give me a minute. You gotta we gotta connect. I gotta feel safe and contained in your energy again. And that just doesn't happen. I'm not right there with you. But because so often women feel that this sex is just a place that you're sort of self-regulating. It's almost like any other thing that I might do to self-regulate or stress release. Men start to use sex as a form of stress release a lot of times. And because a woman knows that's not actually about her, she feels deeply resentful of the desire for sex. And so it starts to become power dynamics. And I withhold sex because, one, I know how much you want it. And it's the way that I sort of channel all my resentment about all of the other things that are happening in our dynamic. I put it into our sex life, but also I'm not actually enjoying sex when I know that it's not about me. It's just a way that you're sort of self-soothing,